Wake up, it's the Coach Brickey Sports Show with the team that can give you what you know, what you need and what you want on the court. For football, the basketball, and every other sport. With Troy and DL and Dr. Carl Brinkley and Paul and the Coach Robert Brickey. It's time, get your coffee and get ready for the flow. Get ready for the Coach Brickey Sports Show. And get ready for the flow. And get ready for the flow.
And good morning to you. It's about 10 minutes after on this 17th day of August. Gee, why do I remember that day? Anyway, just playing with you guys. Look, glad to be back with you for the Coach Brickey Sports Show, anchoring from the mothership station here at 2520 Murchison Road, the Widu Radio Network. We have Reverend Carl Brinkley. He's our producer on today, so he and I are here. My cohort is not here. He's away on today, should be back on next Monday, enjoying himself probably in Jamaica, man. That's where he's from. And his son, they're on a cruise. So Caleb, you probably remember Caleb was one of our interns this year. And so Caleb's birthday is, I think, next couple of days. I don't think his birthday has occurred yet. But anyway, but we're here, and we have joining us online, we have DL. And DL, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Look, I told Reverend Carl, I said, I can't wait until you turn 60. Please, I just want to be here when you turn 60. so I call you old man, too. So you talking junk about the old folks. And also, the coach, the dunk master, ACC, E.E. Smith, Duke University, Coach Robert Brickey. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Listen, we cannot start this day off without giving you a proper birthday wish. It is Troy's birthday today. He turned 171, so happy birthday, Troy. Listen, man, you live another 100 years, the Raiders might get some wins.
That was cool, Coach. That's right. 171. Dear, you heard that?
Yeah, if I could say Stevie Wonder happy birthday from him on the right note, I would say it to you.
Okay, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Listen, you look good for 171, Troy. I just want to
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, that's what they looked in the Bible, man. Remember the Bible days, you know. But God said, look, I'm not going to let y'all stay around for 500 years because y'all ain't going to change anyway. So I'm saying, let me cut this time back. 10 and a reasonable strength. So I'm in my reasonable strength era now, and I'm thankful for that. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to kick it off. The first question is, are you ready for some football?
Well, are you ready for some football? Yes, sir. I really am, man. I mean, I'm excited. I know the NFL starts on September 9th, correct?
That is correct.
Right. And so they're saying they're playing their preseason games now, and people like DL are getting all excited about a preseason game. I don't know what for, but still, you know, that's what they do.
Well, listen, so we're gonna give honor where honor is due. We're gonna kick it off with high school football, and that'll lead us into NFL. So, high school football kicks off this Friday.
Yes, sir.
So, Troy, why don't you give us a rundown on what's happening?
Right, good. I sent you guys a sheet, and, you know, we'll add 71st to that first conference. So, as Coach stated, high school football starts on Friday night. The youngsters start the school the following Monday. So, man, this is huge here. I mean, because we have all of these different conferences. Things are different now in the way that they have the conferences set up. So I'm going to start with the Eastern Sandhills 5A, 6A. So it's a conference that is split. It has 5A teams and 6A teams. So the Eastern Sandhills 5A, 6A is going to be Douglasburg, E.E. Smith, St. Paul's, Westover, and 71st. So in that document that they sent to you, add 71st to that. But guys, I'm gonna tell you, man, I find that interesting. You know, I like St. Paul's, man, and St. Paul's has been giving some of these teams a handful lately.
I mean, St. Paul has quietly been a little powerhouse, and you know, they keep a good squad, a lot of good athletes, and maybe there's something. There's only one school in that area, so you know, you at least get all the athletes in one place. So maybe that's their advantage.
Yeah, you go down there, man. It's like they have their own little Auburn, Alabama stadium down there, right? As you're coming in on the main drag, they get support from that town, man. I mean, everybody comes out for their games, and so this is going to be very interesting this year. I can't remember them being in a conference with Fayetteville schools ever before. Can you?
I can't either, man. Listen, when you said that this morning, that list, I was like, oh my God. I remember we used to have Fayetteville City and Cumberland County schools when I was in school. Right. And they changed that all around. And, you know, conference realignment, it happens to everybody. But so I started looking at these teams. And in fact, you mentioned Richmond Senior and one of them. I was like, that doesn't even make sense logistically. So you go put kids on the bus to go to Richmond County on the school night?
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Anyway.
You're right. So now here you go. Also, you have the Tri-County 6A, 7A. So we're stepping up. I just mentioned a 5A, 6A. This is a 6A, 7A. Cape Fear, Grace Creek, Lumberton, Purnell Sweat, Scotland, and Terry Sanford. So you have 2 Robeson County schools, and of course there's not but 1 high school in Scotland County. And so they're going to be joining 3 Fayetteville schools, Cape Fear, Grace Creek, and Terry Sanford.
That's an interesting mix right there, too. But, you know, I guess, okay, DL, do you know what the breakdowns are when they say 5A, 6A, 7A, what the population of the schools are? Because I think that's what they go by.
Yeah, the population of the school, and it has to be the previous year because for athletic purposes, they're set. Now, they still do the attendance at that 10-day mark, but, you know, you're not going to change classifications in the middle of the school. It will more likely have to be done in the off season. So they look, you know, so that's how it's broke down. So
okay.
That's how it's broke down.
Do you know the numbers? Like, you know, what numbers are associated with what level?
Oh yeah, they go 1A through 8A.
Okay. So the 8As have the largest population.
Yeah, it's based on the student population. That's how they classify them.
Okay. All right. Well,
Maybe
I didn't
before.
cut you off, Troy.
Sure, that's a good question. Maybe before we end the thing today, I can go and I got my laptop. Maybe I can pull that up. So, but again now inside of this now, got some interesting games. I'm going to talk about the games of the week coming up. But Cape Fear and Scotland and Terry Sanford are pretty powerful schools when it comes to football of late. You know, especially Scotland County. That's the only school you have in the county, and they have been a powerhouse. So Terry Sanford, Scotland, and Cape Fear, I would imagine they probably would be floating to the top of that league. Like I say, but it's 6A, 7A, but still, you know, that conference, that track conference, I think that would probably work out like that. What do you think, DL?
Yeah.
Right. So, going to move on down to 7A, 8A. Hope County, Jack Britt, Overhills, Pine Forest, and Richmond Senior. This would be the larger schools in our area. And Hope County.
That's right. Sure.
Right.
Run those back again.
Hope County, Jack Britt, Overhills, which is over in the Anderson Creek area of Harnett County, Pine Forest, and Richmond Senior. And again, Richmond Senior is the only high school in Richmond. So, Hope County only has 1 high school too, correct? I believe.
Correct. Yeah, and
that's correct. 1 high school.
They just put a bunch of money into it and reopen it this year.
Yeah, right. So, but those are, and then Jack Britt, of course. But, Jack Britt and Pam Forrest in those two. In that, they probably 7-8. I would think that Pam Forrest would be a 7A, not an 8A. But I'm thinking probably Hoke and Richmond would be 8A.
And Scotland.
Well, Scotland
It's Scotland
is
County as well.
Yeah, but see, Scotland is a 7A. They're in the Tri-County. The largest is a 7A, right?
All right, yeah. And one thing about Hope County, I didn't see it coming. Duran McLaurin, who was a quarterback at 71st in the early 90s and went on to Central, he was the head coach at 71st for a while, and now he's down at Hope County. So that's going to be a big game when 71st and Hope play.
Right. So, but that's interesting, okay? And then we have the Southeastern 3A, 4A, 5A. That's South Columbus, West Bladen, Whiteville, Fairmont, Red Springs, and South Brunswick. Of course, Red Springs is one of our sister stations, and so imagine that's a pretty small school. I'm thinking they're probably 3A.
Yeah, I've been to Red Springs. It is pretty small.
Yeah, it's a small school. So, games of the week coming up on Friday is going to be Durham Hillside, E. Smith, and Coach. I believe that game was. I believe they were playing that game just after the Civil War, right?
Listen, I know when I was in school, we played Hillside, so that was in the 80s. So it's been going on. I think it was going on before that. So it's been going on a long time.
I think it started in the 50s and the 60s, right? Then you have Grace. Well, now that's going to be Durham Hillside at E.E. Smith. And then you have Grace Creek at Pine Forest. That's a cross-town rival. You're going to have Jack Britt at Southview, another cross-town rival, which I believe this is going to be a good game here, guys. Terry Sanford at 71st.
Oh, that's the opening game?
Yep.
Man. Listen, they didn't want to warm up, huh? They're going right to war.
Yeah, that's going to be quite an interesting game. Look, if I was picking a game to go to watch, it would be Terry Sanford 71st.
So would you say that they're the top? They've been the top two programs in Cumberland County for the last little stretch?
They have, sir. They have.
Yeah. Yes. So look, usually your first game, you want to get all the kinks out,
right?
And you don't want to play a team as good as Terry Sanford on 71st. But I love how the coaches are taking. They were like, listen, if you're gonna be the best, you got to beat the best.
And go ahead, DL.
Yeah, I concur with you. That's an early game. Some of these games, rivalries are early because of the different conferences, and so that one will be a 1-2 watch this week. And it's going to be warm, so being in top physical condition will be important. They did have the jamboree, so most of the jamboree at Jack Britt, it did take place, except for I think it was the latter half, close to the end, is when they had to. It was parents only in the jamboree. So these coaches have these kids out there conditioned. They've been in the hot sun since they start practicing on August 1, but they come in and they're working out all summer when you're playing football these days. So it's going to be interesting to see how it affects each other, affects each team. So that one's going to be one to watch, like you said, Troy.
So now, that's Terry Sanford at 71st now. So they got to go cross town to 71st. And 71st has been extremely difficult to beat at home. But we'll see how that goes. Westover at Union Pass. So Westover will be going over to Moore County to play Union Pass. And then you have Scotland at Asheboro. Let me see, Asheboro is in what county is that?
That's Randolph County.
Yeah, Randolph County, correct.
The zoo.
Right, you're right. Pinecrest at Cleveland. I believe Cleveland is in Cleveland County, probably, isn't it? Am I right about that? I think so.
Well, It's in Cleveland County. That's Kings Mountain. Now, you do have a Cleveland, North Carolina in Rowan County, which is outside of Salisbury. But, no, they don't have a high school team in Cleveland. So Cleveland County, man, that's an unusual road trip. Got the casinos up there. We need to make sure that they go straight to Kings Mountain.
You crazy. Anyway, so here's one coach here now. Southern Lee is at Overhills, and that's their neighbor. Southern Lee is the new high school in Lee County, the newest one, and they're playing Overhills. Mm-hmm. Both of those schools are younger than – both those schools ain't no more than about 10, 15, 18 years old. Both those schools are pretty relatively new schools. That's going to be interesting. And then you have Hope County playing Monroe, at Monroe.
Okay. So they got on 74.
Yeah, that's true. So, but anyway, that's going to be a wrap for week 1 games coming up the 21st, which is on Friday night. Again, wish all those teams and those youngsters the best, that they're in good condition and that no one gets hurt and they're competitive, no one gets angry, there are no fights. The parents don't get in fights either. And so I'm just hoping for all of that to go like that.
Yeah. Look, you're saying you got to tell all that, Troy. but you are correct.
Yeah, it's social media, and it's just coaching has changed. Coaches have allowed kids to express themselves. You see the San Francisco 49ers NFL with the boom box coming out of the locker room. It's changed, So I'm not one of those guys. Don't step on my lawn. I just want to see good football. And Coach Brickey, the key thing I told somebody, I'll never be an X and O as far as football and basketball. But I tell you this, I can tell you discipline. I can tell you coaches who the most successful coaches are going to be disciplinarians. They don't have to yell or cuss because Tony Dungy didn't do it. Jim Caldwell was good coaches. I just like coaches who are in control and run good programs. I just don't like seeing players out there being disrespectful and doing what they want to because it causes chaos. And you can have what you can have. The locker room is so important in every sport because you can have a good player with a bad attitude, and you can have that good player with a good attitude. He can just sour because he don't see the coach discipline that person that's good with a bad attitude. So that's what I look for. So coaches out there, mold these young men, make them do the right thing because they're gonna need these life lessons.
Listen, I'm gonna tell good Coach tell what you said. The thing I love about athletics is I think it prepares you for life.
Right.
All the lessons you learn inside the lines are preparing you for life outside the line. Discipline, being a good teammate, being coachable, all of that factors into you moving toward the next phases in your life. And if you can take those skills with you, then you have a much better chance of being successful.
Yeah, I think of Cumberland County coaches. Roy McNeil, that was a basketball coach at East Smith. The late Ron Miller, the Southview coach. Bobby Paul, Bob Paroli, Coach House out at 71st. Guys that were, no nonsense because, if I can't, you can be probably one of the best players, but if you can't listen to me, I'm not going to use you.
Right.
Well, I have a question for you, Coach. So now, Jimmy Johnson, when he was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he would get mad if they didn't win, and he would not feed them on the plane. This is a true story. He said, look, no, y'all ain't eating nothing because you ain't earned that meal. I wonder, would they be as skinny as I am now if they only ate when they won?
Boy, your job was on the line.
That sounds like a Michael Jordan thing.
Yeah. So look, we'll get to the NFL on the other side.
Yeah, we'll be right back following this.
President Donald Trump is blaming vandals for damaged grass on the National Mall in Washington. For the first time since 2008, the state auditor is completing a performance audit of the North Carolina Education Lottery. State Auditor Dave Bullock says this examination will answer many questions. Ukraine has launched one of the largest aerial attacks of the war, killing at least 6 people in Russia. Heading back to school can be stressful for parents and students. So ECU health professionals are giving parents some advice for the school year. Price of bottom shelf liquor at the ABC store could become pricey, but not yet. The North Carolina ABC Commission proposed the idea of raising prices in order to balance public health and bring in more revenue to local ABC stores. Mike Rayleigh, NCI News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The Fayetteville Police Department is investigating a fatal traffic crash that happened Sunday morning on Legion Road. At about 10 a.m., officers responded to a 2-vehicle crash involving a motorcycle on Legion Road at Legion Park Avenue that resulted in a fatality. FAST is excited to offer the Student Semester Pass for the upcoming school year. Students at FTCC, FSU, Methodist University, and Miller Mott College can ride unlimited all semester long using the Token Transit mobile app. It is $55 for fall and spring, $40 for summer. Unlimited rides within the FAST service area. You must present your student ID when boarding. The Fayetteville Fire Department says, did you know you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape a home fire? As kids go back to school, practice your family's routine. Use a floor plan template to map out your home, find 2 ways out of every room, and draw the locations for smoke alarms and a designated meeting spot outside. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
This morning starting out very warm and sticky, and that's setting the tone for another day with a heat advisory that's in effect. We see high temperatures reaching the upper 90s, some of us trying to scrape near 100 degrees. Regardless, very hot, very humid, isolated showers and storms late in the day into the evening, some of which could be strong. Overnight, hardly any relief from the heat, lows in the mid to upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN Weather Center.
In a split second, everything can change. Pedestrians, use crosswalks, stay alert, and never assume drivers see you. Drivers, slow down near intersections and watch for pedestrians. It only takes a second of distraction to change a life forever. Whether you're behind the wheel or on foot, stay alert and stay safe. A message from the City of Fayetteville, because safety is everyone's responsibility.
I'm Charles Evans, candidate for Cumberland County Commissioner at Large. As your public servant, it will be my responsibility to work for the betterment of our community for each citizen of this great county. As your past county commissioner at large, I have done just that and will continue to put each of our citizens first. I'm Charles Evans, asking for your support as your Cumberland County Commissioner at Large. Together, let's build a county we love calling home.
Paid for by the committee to elect Charles Evans.
And we're back now. And so I was teasing, you know, I love to see him because he has on that, is that the number 1 Dallas Cowboys shirt or the number 2 one? I'm colorblind, you know. No, I know what I'm talking about, but is that the first one I saw that I was, that's what I'm saying. So he's wearing the second one now. Again, I'm reaching out to all of the members at Mount Olive. We can do better. I'll chip in. Let's buy him another shirt, please. Okay. Anyway, but look, Coach, I'm not making that up. Michael Irvin.
You gonna start a GoFundMe? You gonna start a GoFundMe for
you can start a GoFundMe page for him. Buy him a new Dallas Cowboys shirt. Hey, but Coach, look, I was teasing about that, but Michael Irvin said that. He said that Jimmy Johnson was so mad at them they lost some game. They were on the plane, and the flight attendant was coming back with the food, and he wouldn't let them feed them. He said they don't deserve a meal. I mean, look, now what about that deal? Is that hard coaching or what?
Well, that probably was the exception and not the norm because football players got to eat.
Yeah.
But, Jimmy pulled all the right moves when he was coaching Dallas, but during that time frame. But players have changed these days.
Oh, yeah. And look, a coach has got to understand the locker room. Like DL said, you can't do that everywhere. And every coach can't pull that off. So he evidently had listen, a coach does not do well on his own. He's got dudes in that locker room that enforce and support what the coach says.
True.
Because they understand this is about winning. This ain't about egos and grooves. But we gotta have certain things in place if we want to compete for a title. So, and certain coaches can do certain things that other coaches can't do. So, Jimmy Johnson may have been the exception rather than the rule.
I would like to see him do that with Charles Haley because Charles later admits that he was kind of difficult to deal with. But George Seifert for the 49ers, he regrets letting Charles Haley go. Because Charles, Coach, you said it, you have to understand certain players you have to coach. And George Seifert, when he left the 49ers and went, 1-15 with the Panthers and got fired into his career, he regrets letting Charles. Charles was, I ain't going to say aggressive, but Charles, what's the word I'm looking for? He has a strong personality. And he going to let you know you're just not going to. George Seifert said we should have not let him go to Dallas. And he ran in with Jimmy, and they coexisted. But, Jimmy was gone after they won the 94 Super Bowl. So him and Jimmy only had to coexist for a couple of years. But Charles Haley was, hey, you ain't gonna do that to him too many times.
Yeah. Well, listen, this brings up some good points. So let's switch it over to NFL. Preseason has started. Everybody's team is played now. And two of the better performances came from the Steelers quarterback and the Raiders quarterback, which is DL, the Steelers fan, and Troy, a Raider fan. So, DL, let me start with you, and tell me your early impressions of the Steelers, and we'll get to this later on. But do preseason games.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. But start with the Steelers.
Okay, we'll start with Steelers, but it was some other good quarterbacks that played too. But we'll start with Drew Aller. He's from Penn State. He was drafted as a third-round pick, and it was kind of surprising because they took Will Allen, who was Will Howard, that was from Ohio State last year, but he was injured most of the year. And Drew Aller, he was a star performer. Granted, it was just preseason, and Green Bay had took out most of their starters. But what coaches look for mechanics. How you evaluate quarterbacks is mechanics. How they drop back in the pocket. Do they panic when the pocket collapses? Do they take unnecessary sacks to get rid of the football? So he had two. He was 10 of 13 for 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushing for one. So he was. We'll see. He's pushing for that second backup position behind Aaron Rodgers.
So, but look, it seems like this leaves the Steelers in a good position. First of all, you got Rodgers as a starter. But you have a promising young guy who can learn from Rodgers, just like Rodgers learned from Brett Favre. So does this mean the Steelers are in better position quarterback-wise?
Well, we don't know. So they got Will Howard. He's a second-year player. So we know Aaron Rodgers starting. It's not a battle. It's going to be interesting to see if they keep Mason Rudolph, who came into the league in 2018. He is from Oklahoma State, grew up in Rock Hill down the road. So I think he's a journeyman quarterback. I think Atlanta's looking for a quarterback. If I'm the Steelers, Aaron Rudolph's been in the league so long, and he never produced when he went to Tennessee that one year and came back to the Steelers. You're not getting rid of those two young quarterbacks for Mason Rudolph.
Okay. It sounds like, because, y'all got to think about Aaron Rodgers has already said this is his last year.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be looking forward to the future. So that a young guy had a nice performance. Can he be, in next season, can he be the starter and y'all get to the playoffs? I mean, I know you can't answer that, but what's your opinion?
Well, you're right. I can't answer it because they got to determine who that number 2 backup quarterback is. But it's it's hard to evaluate somebody unless they playing against players who are going to be on that 53-man roster. But, you know, Mike McCarthy, the key thing is with the Steelers, when you replace a legend like Tomlin, who kind of faltered in the playoffs, but he was a successful winning coach, and they only had 3 coaches since 1969, the year I was born, when Chuck Noll came on the scene. Mike McCarthy is the right person for the job. He's from Pittsburgh, and he's won a Super Bowl. And he won a Super Bowl. His only Super Bowl he won over Tomlin and the Steelers, unfortunately. And he was successful in Dallas playing under Jerry Jones. So he's not worried about trying to come in and, I got to replace Tomlin. He's a good coach in his own right. And I like the fact he's calling the offensive plays. So I think the Steelers are on the right side. It's just we're going to see what the defense does. The offense I'm not going to worry about because he's a good play caller.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like, listen, we know how important the quarterback position is. And it's nice to have a guy that you could be a replacement moving forward because, if you fill that position, you can build around it. And so, it looks promising for the Steelers, I'll say that. Let me switch over to the Raiders. So, Troy, y'all had a nice performance by your rookie quarterback. Did you watch that game?
I didn't, but I'm not real hype on preseason too much. I'm looking forward to the regular season. Of course, they have the next preseason game will be against the Texans on Thursday and against the 49ers on the 27th. We kick off with the Dolphins. I believe they're going to win that game, the first game. And then they play the Chargers. I believe they'll win that game too. The Dolphin game is home. The Chargers game is on the road. And I believe they will beat the Saints on the road. So they'll start off 3-0. But then, then they go to Murderers Row, man. They got to play the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Bills, the Rams. They probably beat the Jets. But, Seahawks, Broncos, it's going to be extremely tough the second half of their season.
Right. So your quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, goes 10 of 16 for 97 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions in his debut. Of course, he took Indiana to the national championship last year. First of all, Indiana. I'm going to say that again. Indiana won the national championship last year, and Mendoza was a quarterback. So, and a couple of things I like about him. One, he's not a 2-year guy that came out early. He's got 4 legitimate years of playing college football. And, man, he looked mature and poised and looked like the game wasn't too big for him during his Raiders debut, just like he did at Indiana. And so, of course we can't make predictions, but I like what I saw in him. And, if he can continue that type of performance, they can build around him, and then that changes the Raiders' whole future. So I think the Raiders are owning something here, Troy. So, we might be at a point where we can't talk trash about you no more either. About your team.
I'm just waiting for that day, sir. Yay! I'm waiting for that day.
Yeah. I agree with you, Coach. Mendoza, what I liked about him, like I said, Coach is looking at mechanics. The throws he was making, these were not just throws to, dump off passes or screens. He was throwing in tight windows, meaning it was little error for margin, and I like that. And what the Raiders, Clint Kubiak, excellent coach. His dad coached the Broncos to a Gary Kubiak to a Super Bowl. So you got a hot upcoming offensive coordinator from Seattle who won with a journeyman quarterback in Sam Bradford. So the Raiders just got to be patient. He can't. This ain't no, I'm getting rid of this coach after 1 year if we don't make the playoffs. This is a project. You stay the course with this quarterback. You got Kirk, my favorite Cousins, as your starter, and you bring in Mendoza, and they got a kid. Because they got their tight end room. Oh, man, they got some good tight ends. And then they got this receiver rookie named Johnny Bach who played pretty good. So the Raiders Raiders are promising. They just got, you got Tom Brady, so you got that stability off the field. As long as he can tell Mark Davis, hands off, let us run this. The Raiders, they're on the uptick.
I like it. Now, can we get Pastor Brinkley to give us a synopsis of what he thinks for the Cowboys so far? So their issue, they were one of the top offenses in the league last year, but they couldn't stop anything. So they made some off-season moves, improved their defense. So Pastor Brinkley, can you give us a overview? Listen, I don't want you to go as far as saying that y'all going to the Super Bowl.
But he's a preacher, a man of faith. Let's just put that in there first of all, because he believes in hope.
Right.
Okay, go ahead on, bro. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Troy. That's right. Thank you, Coach. Cowboys in preseason have looked pretty good, and really promising, but it's got to be proven. You talked about the fact we had a top offense last year, but our defense, I realized and learned, was last in the league last year, and we're excited about the new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, young man, first time leading a defense as the defensive coordinator. And the defense is really looking better. They did really good against the Rams after that first series that allowed them to score on the first drive. But then after that, the defense looked really good. The two guys that are vying for second string quarterback really also look good. Sam Howell completed 8 out of 12 passes for 94 yards. And then Joe Milton also looked pretty good. So that the competition for the backup quarterback, second string quarterback, is still there. That's exciting. Caleb Downs is looking good. The defensive back, the rookie, is looking real good. And what's the young man's name, DL, that caught the touchdown pass? Was it I can't even. My team, but some of the rookies look real good. The undrafted rookies, who I'm talking about. Y'all help me with that one.
I can't remember.
Quentin Williams, was it Quentin Williams? Or let's see. But we're coming on. We're coming on. There's hope. Young players include Malachi Lawrence, L.T. Overton, Delvin Moore, Siobhan Revel, and Camden Brown. They all look good. And I know already we picked up Von Miller from the Redskins, and excited about seeing him in the Cowboy uniform. I think he's going to do well, especially as a mentor in the locker room. And so I'm excited about this season for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not going to say it, Coach, but you know what I'm thinking. It's going to be a great year. We're going all the way. I just got to say, we're going all the way. Got to do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pastor Brickey, I appreciate. Listen, if you don't think you're going to go all the way, then you have no confidence in who you are. You don't know your identity. So that's what I love about Cowboy fans. They believe that they got an opportunity. And look, if I'm going to be with a group of people, I want to be with a group of believers. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Like, if I'm following a team, I don't need that person to put my team down. Like, I'll talk just about the Panthers, but I support the Panthers. I go to games, I watch games, I try to do as much as I can here in Charlotte. But, I appreciate the commitment and the faith that they have in the Cowboys. So kudos to the Cowboys fans.
You should see the look that's on Troy's face. If you could see it, man, it's really something. But thank you, Coach. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So here's the next question. So does the preseason matter? Like, we've seen performances, but does it matter?
Yeah, because I can tell you some quarterbacks who struggled this weekend. Cam Ward, Shadur, Trey Lance, Sonny Styles, and then Riley Skinner up in Indianapolis. And thank God Anthony Richardson did not struggle this year for in his debut for the Colts. He's going to be their backup. Hopefully he'll be their backup because he needs to come off a strong performance. But it's on Cam Ward. You're the first-round pick, and he didn't connect with his top receiver, and he just don't look comfortable. This is his second head coach in Tennessee, and you're the number one pick. He's got to be on the uptick this year. I know it's preseason, but when you're the first round pick, you got to show a glimpse in year 2. You have to show a glimpse of going forward. Shador I'm in fairness to Shador, him and Deshaun Watson are battling. I think they're going to give it to Deshaun Watson because I think they're going to give it to him. Deshaun Watson had one good long pass. It was a small dump-off pass, and the guy got 43 yards. Shador, he just got to work on his mechanics because he connected on the play, but it was like a 3rd and 9. And this is Robbie Griffin. RG3 critiqued him on Twitter. He said, hey, if you're going on 3rd and 8 and you're going to drop back and you're going to go backwards 12 yards, you better connect. Those offensive linemen going to be mad at you. And he connected. Shador just got to work on his mechanics. But I think they're going to go with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland because he's auditioning for other teams, and he's in the last year of that contract. And, I don't think Deshaun Watson did anything as far as on the field to say, hey, he's definitely the starter over Shador. But I think it's 1-2 in Cleveland. So that battle, they'll name the battle over the next 2 weeks. It just depends on how many starting quarterbacks play in week 2 of the preseason. Because usually in week 3, you're not going to see a starter in week 3 of the preseason because they're getting ready for a regular season.
Yeah. So, okay, brings up the next question. Should established starters play in the preseason?
Depends on the coaches. They didn't want Aaron Rodgers playing. The Steelers didn't. But
he's on Medicare.
They kept a starter in. Yeah. But I'll tell you this, though. Mike McCarthy kept in our left tackle because he's been struggling. This is his 3rd year out of Georgia. He played the whole game. So it depends on who the player because he wants to solidify his line. So he made his dude played the whole game. And he was a starter. He played with the backups. So it depends on what you're trying to see. You know who's ready to go and who you're looking at because, man, they're going from 80-some players to 53, and somebody's going to get that pink slip. So we forgot to talk about the second quarterback drafted, Ty Simpson out of Alabama. He looked good for the Rams because this is going to be Matthew Stafford last year. And Simpson looked good in the backup role. He's got a good head coach. So it just depends. They get those reps in practice because some teams don't even tackle in practice because they just can't afford to get the guys injured. So this is the game time rep. Panthers, I watched a little bit of that game on Friday, and, Buffalo had their starters in for like the first 2 series, and the Panthers played theirs for like the first 2 series. They got some work to do on the offense side of the ball.
Yeah, we looked decent in the Hall of Fame game, and then didn't look very good last week. Last week. So, again, that was our problem last year. We were inconsistent. We beat a team that we shouldn't have beat, and then we lose to a team we shouldn't have lost to. We got to develop some kind of consistency this year if we want to. Again, we made the playoffs. We backed into the playoffs, but we got to do a better job of being more consistent.
Yeah, but Coach, I got a question for you.
So, yes, sir.
Do you believe you could keep your job if you lose your starting quarterback in a preseason game? You know what I mean? To an injury? I mean, what kind of blowback are you going to get if that happens? You know what I mean?
You're going to get a lot of blowback. But, I would imagine that's a group decision, not just a head coach decision. You probably discussed that with the GM, maybe even your owner, especially depending on how involved the owner is. But, if you got a high-dollar guy or high-value guy like Mendoza's got to play because you got to see him for the Raiders. But, I don't know if at this point I'd play him anymore. I need him to take reps under real circumstances. And I would just I wouldn't. So who's the starter in Oakland? Is it who's the starting quarterback in Oakland?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins been in so many places last few years. It's hard to keep up. He's got the best agent in the game because he's made more money than anybody. But I would let Cousins play, let him learn how Cousins hold a clipboard, ask questions, and then maybe 5, 6 games in the season. If Cousins is not taking you where you want to go, then you introduce Mendoza. But you don't have to throw him in on the first game. And then now it's a sink or swim scenario. And if he sinks, you got to bail him out because he still may be your guy, but you don't want him to go through that period where he is struggling, and then you got to try to bring him back to a place of productivity.
Yeah. But Troy, you talk about quarterbacks playing. Jim Harbaugh's a veteran. He came over from the Baltimore. If you Google Jackson Dart hit, he took a hit, and he's upset because they keep sending him to the blue medical tent. Well, I looked at the hit while we were on break. It took him like a couple seconds to get off the turf. And you're the starting quarterback, and he took 2 sacks on Saturday. And then you got his other teammate, Scatterbo, doing back flips at some function, and he just coming off a surgery for his leg, and then he's doing back flips. Man, the Giants got some young, immature players. They don't understand the best ability is availability. Quarterbacks shouldn't be taking hits, let alone in a preseason game. So the Giants got to be more mature than what they are, because right now I'm going to put Dallas ahead in that division going into the regular season. Because Jaden Daniels, I don't understand Jaden Daniels getting upset about somebody wearing his jersey, but I'm going Cowboys.
Wow. Is there a big smile on Pastor Brickey's face right now?
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it is. But I don't know about all that. But anyway, we'll see, though. Look, I'm not a Dallas hater. I just like to mess with Dallas fans because I know how they are. But,
Right.
I mean, they deserve something because they've had a drought for about 50 years now. So, I just feel good for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they got all these memes against them, man. I saw this last thing, and I started to send it to you guys. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I hope I didn't. They were playing against the cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders were beating them.
Right. Wow.
So I said, nah, I'm not going to sit down. That's just too mean.
Yeah, well, listen, it's early, and we got plenty of time to talk trash about each other's team. Should we do a way too early Super Bowl prediction now, or should we save that for later?
Well, I already know this guy in front of me. I know what he's going to say. So he's saying do it now. Go ahead, O'Reilly.
We're not going to include Pastor Brickey in this conversation.
That's right. That's right. Because you know where I stand.
What was the question again?
I was going to say, is it too early to ask Super Bowl predictions because we haven't even got to the regular season? It's too early. Let's wait till week 6 because we got to figure out some injuries first. Let's wait to week 6.
Yeah, I can't call it right now.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on. Patrick Mahomes is coming back. He hadn't played yet, but do you think he comes back? He had an ACL injury and spent summer rehabbing. Do you think he comes back as the old Patrick Mahomes or a better rendition of Patrick Mahomes?
That's going to be interesting to watch, too. But right now, if I'm going to put some money on anything, I'm going to go with the Rams. If I was a bet man, which I don't, I'm going to go with the Rams because of the defense. And you got a good offensive coordinator and a capable quarterback. So I'm going with the Rams.
Has the defensive end officially committed back to the Rams? What's his name? Retired a few years ago.
Aaron Donald. I think it's a foregone conclusion. If he's in the building, he's playing.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, and so I'm with you, man. Listen, they got everything. They've already won it one time, so they know how to win. 2, they got a lot of the pieces back. I think they got better because now you got a backup quarterback and you got Aaron Donald on the other end. So, they got to be the odds-on favorite to win it.
Well, if the Dallas Cowboys, if Rev is picking the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC, I'm picking the Raiders to win the AFC, okay? So we're going to the Super Bowl.
All right, listen. Hey, we got another week full slate of games starting Thursday, NFL, high school football kicking on Friday. We'll have a lot to discuss next week. We'll get to NBA. We didn't even get to NBA Hall of Fame. But we'll get to some of that next week.
Thank you so much, Coach. Everybody, look, guys, have a great one. Thanks for the birthday love. Appreciate y'all.
And you ready for the floor?